Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to our witnesses for being with us today. We're here today because the TRICARE Pharmacy Program lacks meaningful oversight. Since 2022, 13,000 pharmacies have left the TRICARE network. That means that's 13,000 local pharmacies that can no longer fill prescriptions for our service members, and 400,000 military families have got to get out there and find a new pharmacy. The consequences of losing access to your local pharmacy can be immeasurable. Think about veterans with complex medical needs who rely on the personalized care of a local pharmacist, someone who will check for drug interactions and package medications to maximize adherence, and comfort a caregiver who is overwhelmed by their responsibilities. It is the kind of care we want for our military families, and it is the kind of care they deserve. I have letters from 58 pharmacists who speak directly to this issue. Mr. Chairman, I request that they be entered into the record.
So done.
This subcommittee has a responsibility to understand why this kind of care is shrinking in TRICARE. So we need to look at the contractor who is running this program. Since 2003, DoD has awarded the TRICARE pharmacy contract to Express Scripts, the largest pharmacy benefit manager, or PBM, in the country. For 23 years, they have had an exclusive contract, with the most recent contract worth at least $4.3 billion in revenues over 7 years. So what does Express Scripts do with billions of taxpayer dollars? Well, they decide which retail pharmacies are in the TRICARE network and what they're going to get paid for a prescription. They process pharmacy claims, and they run a mail order program through Express Scripts subsidiaries, their own subsidiaries, called Express Scripts Pharmacy and Accredo, specialty pharmacy. Here's the kicker. Express Scripts both decides the reimbursement rates for its competitors, and it provides its own pharmacy benefit services. All of it gets billed to TRICARE. And that seems to me to be a pretty clear conflict of interest. And yet DoD actually requires the TRICARE pharmacy contractor both to own a PBM and its own pharmacy. I don't know who talked them into that, but it is an open invitation for Express Scripts to milk the federal government, to kick out the competition, and to steer a lot of money its own way. The squeeze play is not hard to pull off. In a traditional PBM contract, when the same company owns a PBM and a pharmacy, it can leverage the vertical integration through tactics like spread pricing, in which PBMs charge insurers more than what they reimburse pharmacies for a drug, or engage in steering, in which they under-reimburse the competitors and send more business to the PBM's own pharmacy. DoD and Express Scripts are quick to clarify that the TRICARE pharmacy contract is not a traditional PBM contract. So they claim that these profit-maximizing games don't apply to them. The problem is the facts. Audits of Express Scripts and other government contracts show exactly these same practices. But DoD and Express Scripts want you to believe there is nothing to see here. Okay, but if that were true, DoD and Express Scripts should be rushing to provide this committee with proof. And yet for 3 years now, I have repeatedly asked for the terms of DoD's contract with Express Scripts, only to be told for 3 years that what DoD pays for prescription drugs is either proprietary or a trade secret, and that people like the chairman and me, whose job it is to conduct oversight on exactly this issue, are not allowed to see it. After I pressed Assistant Secretary Keith Bass on the department's weak oversight of this contract during a hearing before this subcommittee in May, he committed to conduct an annual review of the contract and to disclose the differences in reimbursement rates and fees between the retail pharmacies and the Express Scripts subsidiaries. Nearly 2 months later, I am still waiting for those numbers. If DoD and Express Scripts refuse to share this data, we can draw only one conclusion. The contract that DoD and Express Scripts want us to believe is so different is not really different at all. Now, I am glad that this committee included a requirement in the fiscal year 2027 NDAA to audit this contract. We need to pass that requirement into law. DoD has also begun negotiating the next pharmacy contract, which will take place in 2030. I urge DoD to flatly prohibit vertical integration in the next TRICARE Pharmacy contract. A vertically integrated PBM has every incentive to line its own pockets, and DoD should not be using taxpayer dollars to fund these schemes. If DoD wants to use a PBM, then get one that works exclusively for DoD and American taxpayers, and not one that is simultaneously trying to increase profits for its parent insurance company. So I look forward to discussing these topics. Thank you again for having this hearing, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Warren. Before we start, the Personnel Subcommittee has received a number of statements for record. Without objection, they will be included in the record. Now, we have 4 witnesses. Dr. Smith, we'll start with you, but I'd like to say this. We have a lot of questions. I've read some of your opening statements that are rather long. Please keep your statements short. Now, at the end, if you want to continue with your statement, we'll let you do that. But I'd like to get to the questions because we have senators here that need to get on to other hearings. So, Dr. Smith, we'll start with you, please.
Well, Chairman Tuberville, Ranking Member Warren, and distinguished members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to testify before you today, alongside my distinguished colleagues from the private sector. The department is proud to deliver one of the most comprehensive health benefits of any employer in the country, to include an exceptional prescription drug benefit offered through 3 points of service: the Military Treatment Facility, the TRICARE Mail Order Pharmacy, TMOP, which provides home delivery, and the TRICARE Retail Pharmacy Network. My written statement provides much more detail, as you pointed out, sir,